Hello, it's Lewis. You are listening to the Crack Podcast. This is the first time I've had someone else on to talk with on the podcast, and I'm delighted to say it was my very good friend Jamie, who I have known for over 25 years now. He's on this episode to talk about his recent trip to Corsica. Now, I've never recorded with somebody else in the room, so I was using two microphones, which I've never done before. It's not perfect, and already I've learned plenty. So I hope this is the first of many, and I will continue to learn and improve, and I sincerely hope you enjoy the episode. Thank you, and on with the show. That's that story. Well, thank you, Jamie. That was the Crack Podcast. Yeah. So it's called the Crack Podcast because my intention was in the beginning. What I do every week, that would be the minority, and every episode would be me getting the crack with somebody.
Yep. Hey man, I'll be back up here for a while. I can play
years.
a different character every week with the same voice.
Yeah, the art of radio. But no, yeah, this is the first time I've had somebody sit down.
I feel honoured. Long time listener, first time caller.
Right, now, since we're recording, you're leaving Glasgow.
I am indeed,
You're
yes.
going about as far away as you possibly can,
That's the plan, hopefully.
but you're just back from somewhere.
I am indeed, yes.
Tell the people.
I was in Corsica.
Where is that?
So Corsica is where Napoleon is actually from. Not where he got sent or
Alba.
banished. That was Alba, yeah, but it's right next to it. So Corsica, it's a island in the Mediterranean just above Sardinia.
Is it French?
It is French, so it's kind of like got quite its own history, but I don't know when it became French territory, but they all speak kind of like a hybrid of French and Italian.
Okay.
Well, French, it's all French speaking, but some of them it's like French Italian hybrid. But yeah, beautiful island. Don't know if anybody's been there. I'd recommend it. Beautiful beaches.
How did you find out about it?
So my sister, she's been wanting to do it for ages. It's kind of like famous for being Europe's hardest trek. So you start in the north, or you can do it either way. So basically, the way you're supposed to do it, you start in the north and you finish in the south, and you pretty much trek 180, 190 kilometers through the mountains, which are extremely steep from the top to the bottom, basically. So she's had a friend that's done it, and it's kind of like one of these things that you kind of know about if you're into like mountaineering and that kind of thing. So she's been wanting to do it, and I kind of wanted to do it, and we just decided this year, from like both of us, like fuck it, we'll just do it this year. Sorry, can I swear?
Yeah.
It's got to beep that out.
Fucking right, you can.
So we just decided like, oh well, let's just do it this year. There's no other kind of better time to do it. And then and that was that. So
When you say it's a tough trek, is it like the paths in the woodlands around here where it's all flattened paths for wheelchair accessible?
No. So it's extremely technical.
Yeah.
It is extremely technical. Big slabs, big boulder fields. Like some of it's really dangerous if it's like the weather conditions aren't right. So if it's raining at all, I mean, we got stuck in some bad weather, but no, it's like the most technical hike I've ever done. The most kind of the ascent we're doing. I mean, the first day we did almost 3,000 meters ascent, which is, I mean, Mont Blanc's like, that's 2/3 of Mont Blanc or something like that. But I mean, the whole thing was like, so 13,000, just under 13,000 meters. So 1.5 times the size of Everest.
No, it starts bleeding as you're going.
Yeah. So it was like, yeah, you're going is sheer, like sheer pointy mountains, if you can imagine that.
How'd you get there? Is there an airport?
So we flew. So there's a few. Yeah. So I flew from Edinburgh to Nice, and that was the hardest part. So like before it even started, I had to get that. I didn't think about this. There's a flight at 6 o'clock in the morning from Edinburgh, so I got the bus from Glasgow rather than staying in a hotel or driving. And I had to go get the night bus. So I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning to cycle with my bag to the bus station, and it was a Saturday. It was a Saturday morning or Friday morning, Saturday morning, let's say. And it's not just people going to the airport on the airport bus because it goes into Edinburgh. It's all the wee BAMs that have been out in Glasgow for a night out. They're waiting to get on it as well. So it's a good mix.
Yes,
of
they're still out.
Yes, they're getting the 3 o'clock bus. So yeah, flew to Nice, and then literally the flight from Nice to the north. So obviously you fly into the north and fly out of the south. It was just like a little small, with the wee propellers.
Yeah.
Those planes, yeah. And by the time, I think it was like a 20 or half an hour, the flight journey, the time was 30 minutes. So you pretty much go up and then you just go back down again. Up and down. So fly into the north and then fly back out of the south.
What's the locals that live there? Are they farmers? Like, what's the
fishing? I think it's. I mean, I don't really know because we flew in and then you're just going straight to the start of the trek, and we stayed in this kind of like little kind of cabin. They're called refuges or auberges. And
they're like bothies, but they're very
they're nicer than bothies. It's not just like a stone bothy in up Cairngorm or whatever. They're actually some of them are like that. Sorry, but some of them are a bit nicer. But I don't know. I think a lot of it's just tourism because it's got loads of really nice beaches. Farming, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Just a mixture, but beautiful. From what I obviously saw all the hills, but yeah, stunning.
Were you passing a lot of folk on the hill?
There's a lot of folk, yeah. So on the first day, where we started wasn't actually, we were supposed to start in Caucasia, something like that, some sort of name like that. I probably saying this all wrong, but we ended up kind of staying because there's like the way it works is that there's like 15 stages, so it's supposed to be done over like 14 days normally. That's like the kind of average, but that's going to take you 14 days, and some of the days aren't even that long. So anybody who's actually kind of like, I'd say, fit or wants to do it, it's not enough. You want to be walking more than that. So we actually done it in 7.5 days. So we're doing like the first day was 3 stages, and the days after that were either 2 or 2.5. So we actually had quite a lot of ground to cover each day, which in hindsight, I don't know if I spoke to you about this before, but in hindsight, you're like, oh, this should be fine. But I didn't. What I didn't account for, was the lack of sleep when we're sharing a like hostel, when I bought these refuges, and the lack of food or the lack of like decent food. So that really like took its toll. But we had to wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and then it was like, right, let's just get going. So you're starting in the dark, head torches on, and it wasn't like, oh, we'll stop here, for a nice lunch, or it was like, right, no, we need to get going, let's get finished. Especially some days the weather was really bad. You're just like up, go. I mean, I'd be waking up, you'd be having like some water, maybe a coffee if you're lucky, and then you just start walking and you wouldn't stop. And when you did stop, it was just like, oh, I have like a mouthful of bread, or I have like a boiled egg that I managed to buy.
Hey, there were shops in the wee.
So basically, like the first day we're staying in like a wee kind of cabin. So we had managed to have some food there that night, and then the first night after the first day of walking, it was staying in like a ski resort. It's not a ski resort. It's a ski field. It's got like one lift in the hills. So it's got like one lift, and then just like a stone building that has like a shop. It's just like tins of tuna on a shelf. It's got a fridge with some saucisson, some fromage, like a chocolate bar, some cans of Coke, and maybe like some cans of beer. And you could buy like a loaf of bread. So that first night was literally just like a loaf of bread and some cheese that I had for my dinner. Again, they only take cash, and I didn't expect how expensive it is because it kind of got you.
Yeah, of course.
You can't go anywhere else. So I wasn't one to spend loads of money. I was a bit worried about my kind of how much I spend. So you're very limited to what you can buy, and they also offer this thing where you pay some sort of like fucking communist regime or something like that. You basically can pay like 21 euros or 30 euros, and they have like dinner sittings in each of the kind of refuges. And that varies, and like, some places they've got like a little cabin with a fire, and it's quite nice with a kitchen. Other places you're in the hills, so they've actually just got like a really basic kitchen, so you're just getting like like you're camping almost. But you pay for this, and we done this one night, wouldn't do it again. I didn't really know what to expect. We thought you just sit down and they'd say like, we've only got one thing on the menu, and you just get given it. But you sit down in like seating, so there's like 2 sittings. So you have like an early one and a late one. You don't get to choose, and then so you're sitting down just with a table full of people, and then they just put out these plates, and you just kind of it was like a salad, pasta salad to start, and then you just get like a bit of meat. But you're kind of like sharing it, and it's that weird thing when you're sharing food with people you don't know. You don't want to seem like you're taking too much. You don't know how much to take, but you want to get your, you want to get your share. You're starving. I just didn't like it. Didn't enjoy it whatsoever. They're all French as well, so
I'll let the conversation.
Well, I'll let you. They're just French people. There's a reason why they're not well liked around the world, and that's true. You know what I mean? You play into stereotype, but it's true. Stereotypes exist for a reason. And I can say that because I grew up in France, so I've got a right to badmouth them because I've dealt with them firsthand.
This episode brought to you with a French tourist.
Yeah. So that was, it didn't really like quite a lot of the people you meet. They're French. I don't know what they've got, like a chip on their shoulder. If you're not French, they don't really want to know. I think it's just because, when my parents were in France when they were working out there, and even in school, they wouldn't speak English to me. They'd only speak French because, you're in France, you speak French. But even nowadays, it's like the universal language. So you get German and Italian, they're probably going to speak English to each other. I've witnessed that being away in New Zealand, and you'd be sitting with loads of different nationalities, and they'd always speak in English, even if there's not an English speaker there. But for some reason, the French, they just won't accept that. It's probably totally wrong. There's two world powers back in the day, and they were fighting. I mean, France and Britain have always been at war together, or before it was Britain and England and France have always been at war
as well.
Well, everything, they've over land, just the 100-year war. They were always at war with each other, always back in different sides, right? It's the oldest enemy, I'd say, not for Scottish people, but the British, and we used to be friends anyway. And we won, and we all speak English, and it's the universal language, and they just hate it. They don't like it. So anyway, that's why. But it's not even like, so you obviously get like the Swiss French. Mm-hmm. They're fine. They don't have this attitude problem. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back on track. Sorry.
Back on track.
So what else do you want to know about the?
Well, I was just fascinated by your journey because I've never heard. Because I know when you went to New Zealand, you did a lot of sightseeing by Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Did they film any of that out there? Is it that type of?
No. I think that was mostly in.
Because I was following your Instagram stories and Snapchat stories, and it was that sort of sweeping landscape.
It was incredible. I mean, you're right in the wilderness. A lot of places, like, there's no tracks, so it has to get like donkeys to get supplies in, or helicoptered in. You're kind of going through these remote kind of like farmlands. You see like wild horses and like. Yeah. No,
I'm just picturing you as a guy struggling with donkeys. I'm not paying €2 for a can of Coke.
yeah, pretty much. But they were more like $4.50, so you can see. No, but no, it was incredible. So like, it was really physically demanding. But beautiful scenery. We had like just beautiful forests, waterfalls, like really like scree. I think the highest point we're at was like 2,600 meters, so quite high. And then just beautiful landscapes, just changing, but you're going like up, down. Some real technical, as I say, like really technical. If you like, thankfully I bought a new pair of shoes, and if you needed to have really good shoes for grip on these big rock slabs, because if it rained, there's like some points as well where like if it had rained when we're on that section, it would have taken us twice or three times as long. Like, really dangerous. Like, a lot of it was just really, for the people listening, I'm showing this an angle of my hand. Yeah. And it's about 45 degrees.
Pretty straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
But obviously you mentioned you went with your sister, just because the people listening don't know.
Yeah.
You keep yourself very fit.
Yes, I try to.
Gym, sports, you climb in your spare time and stuff. Does your sister have a sort of high level of fitness as well? She
does, yeah. So she does the same. Not, I wouldn't say as fit as me being a man as well, but she.
So the problem with the French is women just can't keep up physically. Yeah.
No, she keeps herself fit, and she also lives out in the Alps. So I actually thought she was going to be in altitude. You know what I mean? So she's out there walking a lot. But yeah, no, she was fine. The thing is, like, we passed quite a lot of people who were like older. You know what I mean? We met a few older...
That's what I was wondering. Is it... So if somebody walks their Labrador twice a day, and then it's like, I quite like to go walking.
No, this is not that.
Don't dive in. No, okay.
No, this is... I mean, the thing is, so the north is extremely, like, a lot of ascent, a lot of meters, really steep terrain. And the south isn't so much of that. But each day you're doing, like, 1,500 meters ascent over about 25 kilometers. So if you wanted to do that in, like... So that's what we were doing, sorry. So that was like 7.5 days. So let's say you want to do it in 15 days. So you can half that. So let's just say you're doing 800 meters and 15 kilometers a day. Over a course of a day, that's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, for people wanting to take a bit leisurely. We met these two Americans on the last day, and they're doing south to north. And they're quite old. And straight away means we were just like, oh, these guys, I don't know, they're not going to make it. They're not
helicopter later on.
Honestly, like, because it is, I think a lot of people go, oh, they'll look at it and they go, okay, this is the ascent, this is the distance. And my sister's done like the Tour de Mont Blanc, which is famous trek around Mont Blanc. You go between you go Italy, Switzerland, and in France, and you go around Mont Blanc. And but she was saying that compared to this is just completely totally different levels. The paths on there are, they've been kind of made. You're not just crossing like ridge lines of boulders and stuff like that. There's a lot of times where you're just it's not a path. You're just going along these kind of boulder fields. And for somebody who is a bit older or doesn't have good, it's not as easy. You really got to take your time. There's some big. It's not some of it's really hard. It's not just easy kind of gradual paths. I think a lot of people will probably, but there's a few places that you can bail out on. You know what I mean? If you wanted to.
Do you have to check in at places as well?
So we done the cheeky thing. So basically, when we're thinking about doing it, we didn't really have a clue. A lot of people do it guided as well. So we basically were looking online, and one of the things that came out goes, just do it guided for 7.5 days. They book everything, and because it's really, unless, especially thankfully having Sophie as well who speaks French, organising it with French. But if I didn't have Sophie there, for a lot of places it would have been a lot harder. Because a lot of them don't speak any English.
Parlez-vous anglais?
Yeah, English. So we basically done a cheeky thing of emailing a tour company to be like, look, we're wanting to do it in this many days. Can you recommend this? And they basically sent back, yeah, we can cater for this. You would do this. You'd stay at these refuges, and it'd be this much distance every day. It's up to you. And then we're like,
thank you.
We were basically like, oh, that's great. Oh, thanks. Yeah, we're just gonna try another few places, and we just used that.
Yeah, sure.
So then Sophie just contacted them herself and booked in. I mean, it should be fine out of season. I mean, it's always good to book. There's a lot of people that you can just they take their mats with them, and there's permanent little tents. You just sleep in a tent with your sleeping bag and your little kind of mat. But for staying in the actual refuges like we do, I think it's quite hard. It's harder. More, gets full, and especially one days when it was torrential rain all day. Luckily we'd booked, but a lot of people were trying to stay at this refuge because it was the first one, and really bad rain, and the next one was a bit further and higher up, and again really basic. It was just a mountain hut with bunk beds in it. That was it, with crash mats. So that actually got full, and I was like, oh, if you were freezing cold, a lot of people we got in there and were hypothermic. That's when we got hypothermia pretty much. If you're hypothermic and you arrive there and you're I can't go on any further, luckily there was a road into that place, but you could be pretty screwed if you didn't book, so they recommend booking.
Now we've left the EU. Did you have to insure yourself health-wise?
I insured myself,
right,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Especially doing that and getting insurance for the height. So it's funny. So I don't know if you've ever needed kind of specific insurance when you travel. Or you just get travel insurance.
Do we just get health insurance?
Health insurance, yeah. So
I've never.
But I had to do it when I was in Nepal as well, because obviously trekking, the last thing you want is going, oh no, you didn't see your trekking. Well, we ain't coming to get you, or we're gonna charge you.
Here's a bill for the helicopter.
Yeah. So basically, there's options you can get where it's trekking, and then it'd be trekking over 2,500 meters or trekking under it, or trekking up to 4,500 meters. They won't insure you after that. So because it was quite a bit, not cheaper, but let's say it was 20 quid cheaper. It wasn't that expensive, to be honest. But I done trekking up to 2,500 meters. So there was only 2 points in the trek that we went over 2,500 meters. And I said to Sophie each time, if I fall here, drag me down to 2,500 meters so the helicopter will come get me, or I don't have to pay for it, know.
Yeah.
So, but it was surprisingly not too bad. But again, it's one of these ones where it's not too bad, but then it's not until something happens and you've got to try and get the money back out of them, that's when the problems arise, because they'll try their hardest not to give you the money. And if you're up there with a broken leg,
can't argue.
You can't really be you know what, guys, I'm just gonna I'll just walk down. You ain't walking nowhere.
Walk it off.
Yeah. So, but there was only one. There's a few times where we both had niggles in our knee, and again you're kind of we're climbing up this extremely steep section, and again this tightness in my knee I've never had before. And I'm just it's that feeling, I don't know if you've had it, where it's not a strain, it's more something could ping and snap. That kind of feeling.
Had the ping.
Yeah.
I've had it in my elbow, actually. It did go ping.
Okay, yeah.
I felt it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So so you're there, and you every step you take, you're kind of well, fuck.
Oh.
If that snaps, gonna have to get helicoptered out of here.
Cartman. No,
or on a
save
donkey.
Me, save me. Yeah. You try. You gotta save me.
Get all that coke off that donkey's back and get me on it. But yeah, it was. I didn't like that. But you just gotta accept it and just keep going. But the annoying.
No, go on. Sorry, no, the annoying thing. Here we go.
The annoying thing. So like, I had a little book that you get, the classic book that had a map and it had like each section on it as well. And even when we contacted that like tour group to get the kind of itinerary, they said the distances, and it was a really good book if it was correct. But yeah, sorry, the annoying thing is, so between this kind of book with all the sections on it and what the person had said, you're going off your watch. So like, obviously when you're doing the distances, so I don't know if you mean everybody's experienced this, when you go for a walk when you're younger with your parents, and, you don't really want to go for a walk, and they go, it's not a big walk. Yeah. And then 2 hours later, you're still walking, like, are we going to turn back yet? No, it's just up around this corner. It's so infuriating, because if you just knew from the start it was going to be this long, it'd be fine. So you'd be like, let's say it's like 26 kilometers, it says, like this guidebook, and it says this amount of percent. You're looking at your watch, and you get to 26 kilometers, and there's no cabin to be seen. And you're like, right, okay. And you're knackered, you're tired, it's the end of it. You've been walking since 5 o'clock in the morning, you're not slept well. Yeah. It definitely got to a point during the day where you're like, I just want to be done. You know what I mean? Like, you're physically exhausted. And especially when you think you should be done, you're not done. So there's probably about each day 2 kilometers, maybe even more, 3 kilometers that you didn't think you'd be, or you thought you'd done and you hadn't done. So these 3 kilometers at the end of the day were hellish.
I wasn't due to do these.
Yeah,
of course.
So
is that as the crow flies? They measure the distances.
No, I think it was maybe like, it was weird. I think either the watch wasn't quite accurate, or when they measured it for the book, the measurement, I don't know how they'd have done it, wasn't quite accurate, or I don't know, because what the itinerary said differed from what the book said, differed from what my watch said, differed from what Sophie's watch said.
Okay.
So there was no medium. So it was so we basically said each day you had to add on some kilometers, but it varied. So there's like 2 days where it worked out pretty much on it. So you're like, oh, this is great. And then the next day you'd be like, Jesus fucking Christ. Even those beautiful views, and you're like literally about 10 minutes ago you're enjoying it, but as soon as you should be done and you're not done, hell no.
You just sit down.
Yeah, but no, it was like the hardest thing mentally and physically I've done, but the most rewarding, the most interesting. Didn't argue with Sophie. There's no point that we argued. I was worried that we might have got lost at some points. We didn't get lost at all. There's like one day where we had to basically, I'll just say the full thing. So we just finished the north, which was beautiful, absolutely stunning, really sheer mountains. The last day was amazing. Like, we walked, beautiful day. We'd walked up, and then you go down past this Cascade d'Anglaise, which is English waterfalls. Mm-hmm. Waterfalls is Cascade. It's probably pronouncing that wrong. And it's from basically British aristocrats used to go there. They built a hotel. Sure. And then that's why it was named that. So they used to always take their friends and trips there. Beautiful waterfalls, unreal. So we went swimming in them. They were walking down, amazing, sun shining, really warm. Went for a swim, and then we arrived. There's a Visavona, this little place, again, Italian kind of sounding place, and thank the Lord we could use our card because there's a road that cuts through it, and it's like kind of there's a train station there as well. But I say train station, it's like Carbridge train station, not even like that. Yeah, you know what I mean. There's no shop, there's nothing there. The train basically just goes there, like the ones that you pass. So we got to where we're staying, and we had a private room, which was great. Nice. I mean, it was still, you just had your own room in like a block, and there was like a restaurant that accepted card with a wee shop. So like, thank you, because again I'd been eating just bread, eggs, and cheese pretty much, like a block of cheese. I'd just buy a block of cheese and have that in my bag. Like, honestly, it was not good. It was not good. So we arrived there, and it was just like, oh, great, finish the north, could get Coca-Colas, could get like crisps, ate like big bags of crisps, packs of biscuits.
I remember your story on Instagram.
Yeah, the thing, like, finished, it was just like, it was funny. It felt like you'd be just trekking through the absolute wilderness and you just arrived at a saloon or something like that. And they've got like, just like the basic amenities. But anyway, it was fantastic. And I got like a good night's sleep. And we woke up the next day, and it's to start the south, which is supposed to be a lot easier. Not as like nowhere near as much ascent, and it's just torrential rain, and I'm talking like torrential rain. And when you start walking in the rain, so it's not even like, oh, you're out and you're walking and you get wet. you're dry and like I'm going straight into the rain. So anyway, we start off in the rain, really windy as well, cold, and we're just like marching, doing a running as well because we just want to get to the kind of the first stage, not where we're sleeping, but it's like another ski field. Soak through, really windy. Get into this place and it's packed because obviously all the other walkers are the same as us. So we go in this and you can hardly move and it's really stressful. And we're in there, managed to have a coffee to try and heat ourselves up, but we're like we can't stop for too long because we're gonna freeze. Like we just need to go in. So we just like let's just go. So we set off again for the second stage and we again just blasting through it, not talking, like torrential rain, really windy, not enjoying ourselves. Couldn't see anything. Didn't see anything. It's just clouding. So nothing at all. And we're just like blasting on, this is fine. And then we get to, again, this is another day where it's 23 kilometers. It said it was going to be fucking 23 kilometers. I think it was like 27 by the end of it. So that's just, anyway. So we get to where we're staying and that's when Sophie basically hypothermic. Like she was freezing. And then I go and look at my bag. Even though I've got a bag cover, everything's fucking soaked. So everything's been going down my back and soaking through from the bottom. Yeah. So all my dry... So for some reason, I thought I had a bag cover. That would be enough to keep the stuff dry, but you need to have like your clothes in bags inside your bag to keep it dry in that way.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I just didn't think... but now I'd always have that. So all my clothes, and I took loads of extra pairs of clothes because I didn't want to be cold. Way too many clothes.
Soaking wet.
All soaking wet. My sleeping bag, soaking wet. Everything that I have, soaking wet. So even the clothes that I'm in, soaking wet. And I must have drunk about 3 litres of hot water just trying to heat myself up. I had to get the tinfoil, the emergency blanket on Sophie. So anyway, so that wasn't the great. So we're sitting there freezing cold, and then I'm trying to dry the stuff outside because that's the only way you can do it. So I've got like both of our stuff because she can't really do anything. Got it all outside on these benches. And it's that way where it's like, oh fuck, it's gonna start it's gonna start raining, like the clouds are coming in, and it starts spitting. So I have to get everything out back into the refuge bit that we're staying in, and then I'll go back outside again. Oh fucking, it didn't start raining. Everything back out again. Trying to just do. I've done this about 2 or 3 times. I'm like, this is a fucking joke. Nothing got dry. So then came in and we're like, right, that's where we had the dinner, and we had to go and like, I basically hung all my stuff up on my bunk. We shared a bunk bed on the bunk bed. To try and hopefully some of it would dry in the morning. None of it dried. None of it dried.
Nowhere.
Nothing at all. So again, waking up at 5 o'clock, after not sleeping, waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, trying to pack your soaking wet bag. Yeah. And there's people around you, so I had to go outside, head torch on, putting on wet socks, wet shoes, wet everything is one of the worst feelings ever. So anyway, I'm still like, right, okay, today the weather's supposed to be a bit better. Let's just get going. We'll get some stuff, and like I put some clothes on the outside of my bag to dry. That's how I do it. It's kind of okay, and then we're walking up. I'm like, fuck, here comes the clouds are coming in. Shit. Yeah. So we get up maybe about an hour into walking, and it starts raining, and it's windy. So everything gets back in the bag. I've got my shorts on, you know what I mean? Because I don't have any. All my clothes are soaking wet. Yeah. So I might as well just wear shorts that can quick dry. Yeah. So we're on this ridge line. We get to one of the first cabins. We go in there, I'm like, I'm fucking freezing, let's get some stuff on. Let's get some like extra layers on. And the guy's like, he goes, you probably want to be putting some stuff on. And I was like, well, I'm not going to put my trousers on because I'm so wet. I'm just going to put like my puffer jacket on underneath my waterproof jacket. And look outside and it's fucking snowing. It's sleeting. Yeah. And I'm like, we're in the middle of the Mediterranean in September. Yeah. It's not supposed to fucking snow. Like, it's not supposed to. I didn't pack for this. But like, we didn't pack for this. We packed for like, oh yeah, it might be a bit cold because you're in the mountains, but not anything like this. So I couldn't put any other clothes on because they're all soaking wet anyway. So like, right, well, let's just keep going. Sophie's got socks on her hands because her hands are so cold, but her gloves are soaking wet. So she's got a pair of socks on her hands. And I'm just like, right, let's just heads down and go. And we just start going. We're probably about 2,000 meters all the way, like around about 2,000 meters. And we've got to go along this ridge line. And I kid you not, snow started happening, like 50, 60 mile per hour wind, snowing, sleeting. You're barely, like, honestly, my gloves are soaking wet, couldn't put them on. My hands are freezing. I'm in my shorts. Yeah. I'm in my shorts that are literally like, they're not even thick. They're like swim shorts. They're like gym shorts. You know what I mean? Like really thin, quick dry material. Legs are red, like bright red from the cold. And there's nothing you can do besides, we just got to keep going. Yeah. We can't turn back. We just got to keep going and hopefully it gets better. It didn't get better. So we're both like, you know that way where like, I had to keep checking behind me for Sophie and you're on this like quite really technical kind of, again, ridgeline, boulders, not easy to see where the paths go in. I mean, you just follow like little markers, so it's like a red and white marker. So there's no path. Sometimes you're just on like rocks and you've just got to look for it, and you can go the wrong way, and you've got to like, right, where was the last one, go back and find it. Can't really see. And I'm like, if anything happened here, we'd be fucked. Because you know when your hands are so cold, you're like, even getting my hand into my pocket to get my phone to then try and find, I couldn't move my fingers. Like, it wasn't a good. And in my head, I'm like, right, if something did happen, this is what we'd have to do. It's not a nice place to be in. So thankfully, we made it past through the snow to this, again, not where we're staying, but to like the next kind of like little hut. And it was like shut off for some reason. And we went into like the kind of, this was like exactly like a bothy, and it was so fucking packed. You had to squeeze in. Fucking French. Just sitting there.
Not moving
at all. And a lot of people, like, we were saying this, if that was in the UK, as much people don't like British people, right? But we do have manners. We have we have like a system where, like, if you're in a bothy and there's people sitting there and they're taking their jackets off, eating food, and they're just kind of sitting down. If you're like sitting in there and you see these people come in like freezing because it just starts snowing and sleeting, you'd be like, right, you guys come in here, we'll stand up and we're gonna, you know what I mean? Absolutely. There'd be a bit like, nah, not at all. They haven't. No. Honestly, we're the place before that. We're trying to get near a fire, and there's people in t-shirt, like we're like wearing loads of hats on, freezing because we've got like hypothermic. Yeah. We're on our way to being hypothermic, and there's people like in their fucking t-shirts standing by the fire, and it's like if again, I'm saying it's the French thing, but like I think most places, if you saw people come in out of the rain, freezing, and you're there in your t-shirt having a laugh, drinking a glass of wine next to a fire, taking up space because there's loads of people crowded around it, you'd be like, let these guys get in. I'm warming up. You know what I mean? Like if you're in your t-shirt and I'm there with like 7 layers on and a hat and I'm shivering, get out of the way. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just like, anyway. So
does Sophie remember this as well? She was in
we're both. This was a big conversation. How much this like as in like how much we hated
like noticeable
specific people that we came across. Yeah. Their nationality, I'll let you decide that one. Anyway, so we got to this hut, and Sophie was like, obviously she was cold from the night before, and I was like, oh, if we get, because we're staying in another like mountain hut this next night, we're soaked again. And we said to each other like, look, if we can't arrive at this next place we're staying because it's a basic hut with all of our stuff, so we've got no dry clothes to change into. I don't know if we're going to be able to get hot. We don't have any, like, don't know what hot food there is there. Like, what are we going to do? So we're like, right, we need to basically get off. We need to like go down and try and go somewhere else. So we basically, Sophie asked, kind of like, there was a guide there, and we looked in our book and we saw that we could cut down to this like village just down off this ridge line. Right, we just need to do that because there's no way we're going to like, it wouldn't, like, it would be dangerous. Yeah. It got past the point of being like, oh well, it's just because, not because we're not fit enough, but because this is actually dangerous. This could something go wrong, like you could end up in hospital. Like if we can't get warm, then we will become hypothermic because we had nothing to get into. Sure. A sleeping bag was soaking, and there's no warmth, there's no fires. Like this mountain hut was just very basic. So it's like, right, we can't do it. So we had to cut down this valley out of the fucking snow and sleet, and found this little village that had, like, again, refuges as like places for people to stay because it's so close. So a lot of people do, I mean, all the way along there's like little alternative routes where you can like leave the trail and go see like a village, come back again if you're not doing it at a specific time. So thankfully we went down and they had like a petrol station that had a spar. Yeah. And having honestly going into like a basic little petrol station spar accepted card, you just felt like a king. It was so good. So I just like bought a baguette, some salami, a block of brie, sweeties, a big massive bag of crisps, and some chocolate biscuits, and maybe like 1 or 2 other things. Oh, a couple of cans of beer. Yeah. Extra strength, 7.2%. And it just felt amazing. You just honestly see just being able to buy just kind of food that you wanted to. You don't get that there, so it's like really nice. It was just like proper food. So we went down, got our kind of like private room again. It's just made could have a hot shower, could eat food, and I was just sitting on this like little fold up table because Sophie obviously went for a shower first, and I got my phone, got Netflix, got a 4G. Just like I had plastic knife cutting this like bread up with brie. And it was amazing. It was so good. Just basic things. So So yeah, so we kind of came down and we're on the way down because we're both so fucked. We hadn't seen anything. The weather was terrible. Didn't see any of the south, and we're like, what are we gonna do now? Are we just gonna go to the end? Like, are we just gonna bypass the last few sections and just get a taxi to the beach where we're supposed to be finishing up and just have like an extended holiday, get a hotel, and then in the evening we're like, no, we'll get a taxi to the next section. So we'll still have 1 day of walking and we'll actually finish in the town that you're supposed to finish in, so we can say, to the most. Right, we'll do that, that's fine, we can do that. And woke up the next morning after sleeping like 12 hours and we're like, you know what, we'll just actually get a taxi back up to where we were going to be finishing.
I'll do it anyway. No,
we're going to do the whole thing, we're not going to do it. I'm like, yeah, let's just do that. So we got a taxi back up the mountain. €60, expensive. Ooh. Yeah, I know, trust me. Ooh. After just paying for this, it wasn't included. So anyway, and so got a taxi back up to where we're supposed to be finishing that day, and the weather had changed, so it was back to being sunny, and so glad that we did because it was beautiful. You've not seen Lord of the Rings, have you?
No.
Okay, so there's like scenes in that, again, filmed in New Zealand, just like kind of grassy, mountainous fields with like rocks, beautiful, looked like that, amazing. Wild horses, eagles, pigs.
It's like a Disney.
Yeah, it was cool. So it's like one of those ones where you're like, oh, I'm so glad we did it. And then that was an extremely long day, really beautiful, really, really stunning. And then we got to, again, that we should have been finished a few kilometers ago, and it just kept on going. And then we stayed in this place, Baveda, it's called. Again, it's like a mountain pass, so there's a road going through it, and there's like a few not restaurants, if there's like guest houses with like a restaurant on it. We were staying in one of them. That's where we met these two American guys, and we actually had like a meal, like an actual hot meal, which was really so just lovely.
Yeah.
And then we finished it the last day, 17 kilometers down to the finish line. That was beautiful, beautiful. You can see you can see in the mountains, you can just see all the coastline. You can see Sardinia as well. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. But it was really nice to be finished. It was just like...
To toot your horn, you've done marathons in the past.
I have indeed.
Is it the same sense of achievement at the end? Is there that kind of release of it's over?
This is way more.
Way more?
Yeah, way more achievement, yeah. Because this has been like 8 days of going, of doing like... Yeah, it was that way as well. See what's really interesting? Like, see, again, you wake up, you've got one thing to do today. You don't have to think. We've got to get to from A to B. That's all you need to worry about. It's not like, what am I going to do today? We're going to do this today. It's like, no, we wake up, we walk, we get there, you eat some food, you're knackered, you sleep. It's like such a simple way. It was such like a nice. You didn't have to think about anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just imagine like hunter gatherers back in the day of just like, what are you doing today? Oh, we need to hunt for some food so we can eat. That's it. That's all you have to think about. Honestly, it was a really nice, simple way, but it was really good to be done. You're kind of like, it was mostly the food and the sleep, like getting some good night's sleep in a quiet room, having some nice food. That's what I was, that's the one thing that I was really looking forward to.
Now, the folk that are listening that have listened to this for tips and hints and things, you wouldn't do it again, you were saying. It's done.
I wouldn't do that hike again. But
if you could go back now with what you know,
yes,
what would you do differently or the same? What have you learned about that experience that somebody could learn from you?
So number one, if you can sleep, if you've got no problem sleeping, getting to sleep, I say this doesn't really matter, but if you're like myself or my sister, where like you don't sleep very well, so you need to basically, I can maybe do 1 or 2 days, probably even 1 day of doing in like a shared dorm.
It's not for me.
Yeah,
no.
Just because it's the noise and you really need your sleep. So if I was to do something like that again, the little tents I was telling you about, I'll show you some photos where they're just like permanently set up, just like really basic little 2-man tents, I'd say, on like pallets. Really basic. But
it's just like canvas that's always strung up.
No, it's just like a little tent, like a little basic 2-man tent.
All right. Okay.
Like you'd say, like people take to festivals, obviously, but maybe a bit better than that. I'd get one of them and just carry around the camping mat, because at least then you go in whatever time you want, nobody's going to disturb you. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then you can just sleep. It might be people walking past, but it's nowhere near as bad as like sleeping in a stinky dorm. So I'd do that next time. But yeah, so basically, if you've got problems sleeping, try and I would do that if you're doing something like that. Don't stay in refuges. There was some hotel, like we stayed at ski fields some nights because you cut through the mountains. So there is some options of like staying in like nicer accommodation. I would choose that. Get private rooms. Make sure you take enough money. Cash is king. Cash is king. And a lot of just like high energy snacks. Like I should have taken more like just high energy protein and like protein bars and maybe some more sweet, you know what I mean? Like you go buy them from shops where they're expensive, but they're small. And I took some granola bars and I had like maybe two. I went and bought some like emergency package from like camping. You know, like they come in, it's like chicken tikka masala and like a tin. I don't bother with them. Just gave me really bad indigestion.
Really?
Yeah. But just like high energy kind of snack bars. But yeah, try and get some. If you don't sleep well, either book the tents so you can kind of choose when you want to go to sleep and not be disturbed, or kind of private rooms. Don't take anywhere near as much clothes as you think you need. So I took way too many clothes.
Oh, really?
You're stinking every day. You just put the stinking quick dry sport stuff. Just like 2 t-shirts.
Everyone else is smelling as well.
Everybody else smelling, and you can just wash one, and if it's sunny, just dry it on your bag when you're going. I took too many clothes. Way too many clothes.
They're stinging insects and things.
Do you know what's funny? So we obviously the one thing they say is like, oh, bring bed bug spray because in the refuges is famous for having bed bugs.
Gross, yeah.
So we brought the spray and we had like DEET as well. The whole trek, not one issue. Then we finished up, so we had 2 days at the end rather than getting a hotel, because looking for hotels near a beach. Basically, we found these like basically a cabin on a campsite. Like there was a little campsite right by the beach, and it was a lot cheaper. So we just booked that for the last 2 nights, and we both got bit the fuck out of.
Really? After?
Yeah, like honestly, really bad. So there was but you expect that anywhere. Kind of you go there, some mosquitoes, you bastards. But up in the mountains, no issue.
With snakes?
No, you don't get snakes. I don't think you get snakes there. I didn't see any snakes. Didn't see anything exciting. I mean, honestly, it was just beautiful scenery. It was honestly just beautiful scenery. Stunning views. Some IRA flags.
I saw that photograph.
Yes.
Not what you'd expect.
Yeah, not what you expect at all. But I told you about the guys that were in the hut.
No.
Okay, did I tell you this?
No.
So,
don't like that grin.
You've seen the photos. It's a bit of a shock. So this is like, I can't mind.
I should probably just tell the photographs he's referring to are just pro IRA. Was it? There's a
flag. Yeah. Pro IRA. So basically, it was like away into the hills. So there's no roads. There's like refuge, one of these cabins. And it was like a cabin that had like, again, you can get like a wee coffee, like instant coffee from there. Some like, again, tins of tuna, stuff like that. And they've got some of these tents. Really beautiful, but like way in the hills just before doing a really steep section. There's no roads, nothing like that. And we get to it, and I go to get a coffee, and I look up behind the kind of like in the shed, and there's like, so they've got Basque flags. So Basque, obviously Basque country. Alex Salmon died.
He did actually.
Yeah.
Yesterday. Yeah. Charlotte met him a few times.
Oh really?
Yeah. Came to her work.
Oh yeah. That's cool. I mean, he wasn't the healthiest looking man.
No.
He had a heart attack, they think, and I was like, yeah, I can see that.
Possibly.
69, yeah, I think they said.
Yeah.
And what's he doing in North Macedonia?
Yeah, what's he doing over there?
Doing some sort of conference, yeah. Anyway, but so you saw a lot of Basque flags. Because Corsica wanted independence for a while, so they've got that, the same as like Scotland or Catalonia, I guess, because they've got quite a lot of their own kind of like history and heritage and culture. So they've got Basque, they've got like a Corsica independence flag, they've got a Scottish flag, they've got a Catalonia flag, and then they've got the tricolour with 2 men with rifles and balaclavas that said Irish Republican Army, and something else I can't quite remember underneath it. And I think it was the is it Stormont, the kind of where the government sits in Northern Ireland.
You keep talking. I'll try to find that photograph.
It's anyway. So I see this flag, and I'm kind of like set back. I'm like, holy shit! I've never seen like a flag that openly says Irish Republican Army.
Yeah.
Like you don't see it. You'd be arrested if you had it in the UK, because it's like a terrorist organization. You definitely couldn't have that. You could have it, but you couldn't have it on show anyway. So I was like, holy shit, that's mental. Like, what did it say? Undefeated. Yeah, undefeated.
Yeah.
So I was like, Jesus Christ, like that. Honestly, I've never seen anything like that before. But I didn't expect to see it in the middle of the Corsican mountains. You know, why would you? And
there.
Yeah. So I I was like, Sophie, do you know what that is? And my sister, she's not into any sort of history or
Politics,
politics. She doesn't know anything about that. And she goes, no. I'm like, oh, it's the IRA. Like they're class of terrorist organization in the UK, like that. Mm-hmm. That's pretty mental to have that up. Like they bombed Britain. You know what I mean?
They almost got Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah. I mean they killed the Queen's cousin or Mountbatten or whatever. I mean they killed a lot of folk for whatever reason. Whether you agree with it or you don't agree with it, like they killed a lot of folk. Don't bomb folk. Yeah. Anyway. So I was like, that's mental. And Sophie's like, oh no, I don't know who they are. I'm like, you've never heard of the IRA? And I said, so you've never heard of up the Ra? You've never? And I said this. And then she's like, no. I'm like, okay. So I sit down. There's like two old guys in a bench next to us, and then like one other couple. Nobody else there. And then the guy on the table next to us goes, so I guess you support Celtic then? In an Irish accent. And I was like,
record scratch.
And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I live in Glasgow. And I go, oh, nice. I'm like, where are you guys from? And they go, we're from Belfast. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
The one thing to say, in fact, like, they could have been from anywhere in the world, but they happen to be from Belfast.
Yeah, and you said that.
And they're probably about in their 60s. So they would have grown up in the Troubles.
Yeah, of course.
And they didn't say anything after, I guess, and they didn't say if they supported it.
Yeah.
Or they didn't say any jokes, or they didn't say anything else. So I'm going to imagine they probably are not pro-IRA or nationalists.
Of all the places to say that.
But all the places to say that, but all the places for two boys from Belfast to be anyway. So that was a bit kind of awkward. But we moved past it anyway. But they were really nice guys. Done a lot of Monroes.
Did they?
Yeah, done a lot of Monroes, yeah. So we'd actually met when we arrived. We shared a taxi with two South Africans who had lost their bags flying over, and they were saying that they'd ran into two Irish people who'd also got not lost their bags. Basically, the airport.
Baggage handling, whatever we'll call it.
Fucked up, yeah. But they were like, oh yeah, we met these two Irish guys, really nice, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Totally forgot about it. And then literally when this conversation had happened after me kind of put my foot in it. My sister was like, oh, did you meet two South Africans? And they go, yeah. So that was the Irish guys that they were talking about. So
who are now missing.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a bit of a strange experience, but really nice guys. And it was cool after that. So we done that. We're like, oh, we're gonna go for a swim in this like beautiful waterfall. Like pool was right next to the place. So we went up there, and the first time in my life that I felt like Gollum. So we're literally just by this pool. And I'd gone for a swim, and then I was just in my boxers, I just found my boxers, like crouched on this rock, just eating like boiled eggs and bread. Just like I've got a photo of just like squatting, like you don't watch it, but it's and then the path's out there, so then people just walking past, and I'm just eggshells around me.
Took a photograph of you and spotted this cryptid that's in the mountains.
But no, it was awesome, man. It was like I want to do more stuff like that. You see a lot of the country. I mean, best way to. I mean, I've never done. From now on, I'm like, oh, if I'm going to go on holiday, it'd be great to do some cool treks or walks and push yourself. Cool to do it with a family member, like bonding wise, which was really nice. Like, yeah, you're gonna remember it for the rest of your life. Like, it's really awesome. We're gonna try and maybe do something every year, maybe not to that like extreme. And sorry to go back. So yeah, sleep. Make sure you can sleep if you can't sleep. Book private rooms or private tents. Don't take as much clothes, as many clothes.
Don't take the clothes.
Don't take those clothes. Yeah. You don't need them. And 8 days, 7.5 days of doing that. Just do a nice 4-day one. 3 or 4 days is plenty. Don't need to do more than that.
Keep anti-Catholic slogans to yourself.
Pro-Catholic.
We're pro-Protestant.
Yeah.
Just keep slogans.
Don't say any sort of racial or terrorist slurs or chants.
Any historical terrorism.
And it doesn't matter that you think there's going to be no Irish people around who could take offence to this, because there will be. There'll be somebody who could take offence.
Two guys that grew up in the 70s in Ireland.
They just forgotten about it. Or they're trying to get away from it.
But forget. No, you're not going to forget in here.
So that was it, man. It was pretty awesome.
And when are you away to Australia?
I don't know. My life's a bit. I don't really know with anything just now. Everything's a bit up in the air. I've got a lot of things to do. Not enough money to do them. We'll just see. So, yeah, might be moving to Inverness.
Really?
No.
Oh, that's where I live.
So
that's the flower. That's where they found the dead lady. You know, it's
whereabouts? The dead lady.
that door over there.
Why is she? Explain that. Why?
Drugs.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
I just watched
that. Could you see it? You see it happen?
I saw the sheet. I didn't see the.
Oh, you didn't see.
I didn't see a corpse. I just saw there was a bunch of hullabaloo, and they looked outside, and they're putting a sheet over, and then.
Nice.
There's no ambulance. There's an undertaker. That means they found them clearly dead.
Yeah. Okay.
If there's still a chance, the ambulance goes, and that's to pronounce them. But if there's like no chance at all. So that's where we'll leave that there, guys.
I don't know what else you want to know. What else can we chat about?
Yeah, the violence of Glasgow.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I had last week 2:00 in the morning. Got woken up, people shouting outside on my street. 7 police cars showed up in the end. Like they're in like a petrol station. Oh, it was chaos. I love it.
This is after your Batman film. Last time you were up, maybe we went to the Apple store. You were telling me about you were watching the Batman film. You turned it off, and there was a lady their legs slashed open with an axe or something like that.
Yeah, no, this was a carry. This is different from that.
Different
yeah,
from
that
that?
was mental. Yeah. I went to see the new Joker. Terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I watched the first 5 minutes on that Amazon stick.
Which one? Oh, you just tell the people you. Jesus.
Come on, get me. But some of the films in that thing are still filmed in the cinema.
Oh, really? The old fact, yeah.
So
I think it all comes from Russia now or something like that.
It started out as like a cartoon to begin with.
Yes, I was watching that. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then
that's quite cool. Nope.
So Arthur, you got a joke for us today or whatever?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah. Hey, I think it's the worst film this year. They say that's what they're saying. I think it's lost the most money. Quite right. You know when you watch a film, like, yeah, it deserved to.
The Penguin's meant to be amazing.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah. You know the Batman.
The Batman film.
Didn't realize it was Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
The whole time watching it.
Yeah.
Oh, guess what I watched recently as well? In Bruges.
Yeah, amazing.
I was watching the whole time. And do you know I forgot about that film? Just like the music. It's so That's the tower. Yeah. Just like the music and the shots. I'm just like, this is just, it's nice for the eyes and it's nice for the ears. And I was just thinking of you cutting around.
That's the exact, because we watched that film, I think right when we got back.
Did you not watch it before you went?
I watched it twice because Charlotte had never seen it.
You watched it before, she watched it before you went, right?
Must have done, because...
Otherwise, you missed a trick.
But the film is in Bruges. Like it's not...
It's made for,
it's basically an advert for the city.
Yeah, totally.
And it's a very small city.
All right, okay. I thought it was...
Yeah, I think there is nearby areas where
one
the
of the best preserves. Medieval times.
Medieval times. It's lovely, because you can go right up the tower there.
Not if you're a big fat American.
Not if you're a fucking elephant. Yeah.
Guys, I wouldn't go up there.
Yeah, good film.
But no, it's funny, I watched that and I remember you obviously going and telling them, like, I can see why it's beautiful.
Go in January.
Yeah.
No other fuckers there.
Constantly just snowing slightly.
Did I send you guys the video in the group chat of the morning? Because it was like an extra €20 for a canal side room. And you
sent me the video of you going into the room and it's like you're on the... If there's a big wave that goes past, I feel like I'd go into the
I think windows. It was the last morning I woke up. What's going on? Charlotte's sitting on the windowsill drinking a coffee and it's just snowing so gently.
That sounds beautiful. Like a fairy tale.
Things are chiming. I think I'm dreaming because I don't know if I'm in a fairy tale. Whatever he said, it's that vibe.
It's a fucking fairy tale. What do you mean he doesn't like it?
Yeah, no, I didn't mean I'd go back.
Yeah.
And I never thought it'd be like a romantic, like the same way like I never thought I'd be a Chihuahua guy. You know, I never thought I'd like these romantic cities of...
Chihuahua guy.
Yeah,
so you're afraid to,
yeah. Tell us about yourself. Chihuahua
guy, yeah. But he's like a dog, you know. I mean, actually, I'm looking at the drawing.
Was that Chica?
Yep. Auntie Charlotte. Uncle, right, okay.
That was placemats from Christmas.
I was about to say,
that's not.
You don't refer to yourselves as the dogs.
No.
Auntie and uncle. Because that would be weird.
You know the cat?
Are you the dad?
Am I the daddy?
No, the daddy?
Chica's more of a flatmate.
So Charlotte, is she mum?
No. We're not those owners.
What? Normally there is that kind of...
We don't do that. Chica's her own thing. No, like...
Chica's her own head. She runs the house.
She's got her own thing going on.
Yeah.
No, the you know the cat Rooster in Grantham?
The what?
Rooster. The wee cat I found.
Oh, on the street, yeah. I think maybe I met it. I don't know. I remember you finding it on the street.
He comes and goes
Does what
He's
it
not really
yeah.
there. But when I still lived at home, I took him to the vet to get neutered,
Mm-hmm.
and the vet was talking to me through him.
Wait, what?
So she was like, "Do you think Daddy will hold you still?" And I was,
The fuck did you just say to me?
yeah, come on,
The
fucking
fuck?
Daddy.
Oh, kinky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that either.
I don't like it at
No,
all.
don't.
No, so I'm
no.
not-
Who was this vet?
Grantown.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
What about?
Yeah,
Find the
he's like, can you hold your cat?
Yeah.
Could I?
No, you're the vet.
Yeah, what am I overpaying you for? It's gotta be something.
Yeah, no, fucking Daddy.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
She goes,
Yeah.
so you're here to get your plums removed. I'm like, right, don't refer to his bollocks as his
Yeah,
plums.
yeah. Something to teach in vet school, yeah?
Plums.
Yeah, I don't like people who project these like sophisticated personalities onto their like pets. They can have personalities. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure Chica does have I mean, I hear it, but like,
Yeah, but she's not educated.
don't project all these things. She's attention seeking. She's doing that, and you're like, it's a dog. I don't think it has that.
It's pets with anxiety disorders.
Don't,
Can dogs have anxiety
no,
disorders?
me and my ex had her dog
Oh,
had, had anxiety issues, and it had the cheek to then try and say how to look after dogs to me and how much they should or shouldn't be left. I'm like, your dog's got a fucking can't be left by itself. That's a problem.
That's the problem.
Because you've not left it by itself.
Then the
Nice,
poor
you know what I mean?
animals' defence, I think they obviously had lockdown.
Yeah,
Chica had Charlotte home
all the time.
for the whole.
But guess what? Dogs don't have, leave it alone for a week or two. I'm sure it'll be fine after that.
Yeah.
Life's
It's a guy
hard.
One of the guys at work has got a cat that's got diabetes. And
Fucking hell.
I didn't know cats could get
Can
injections.
they? I've never heard of any other animal.
If it's sugar dips,
How?
you can't give it apple juice.
He gave it apple juice.
No, but like Charlotte's got diabetes.
Oh,
like,
right.
if her sugar dips.
Oh, does she have diabetes?
Yeah, is there no
I take it type 1.
type 1? Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so like.
Have you got apple juice over there to feed it?
So the apple juice there, that's like emergency. If her sugar
like-
suddenly dips.
Yeah. So if she ever
But
you
like,
just start spiking her food with some sugar.
that's really fucked
You're
up.
hypo.
That's how a lot of those nurses in hospitals kill folk.
Yeah.
Insulin
Insulin.
spikes.
Yeah.
No, but if that guy's cat has a sudden dip, you can't just
Fucking
give it a
cat.
carton of it. You can't give it a
Well, you
carton
can.
of apple juice.
But I've never heard of any other dogs, or I mean, say dogs. Any other animal have? I mean, probably a lot of them have it. How did they figure
You
that
must
out?
test and look for it before it
When?
dies.
Oh, before maybe you take it to the vets and they'll test his
Sudden weight
glucose.
loss, whatever. Yeah.
I've never heard of that though. Where's this vet from? Same vet that asked you. Anyway.
I don't know if people are still listening. Should we-
Sorry, man. Let's just have a conversation. We'll take it. We'll go get some food. We'll just take it the whole time.
Just leave it on.
Yeah.
We can have
Alright,
a pumpkin spice latte, cream. Right.
Oh, thanks for having me and listening to my dribble.
No,
I actually really enjoyed it.
it's wonderful.
It's quite cool to hear. It's quite nice. Like, not nice, but it's just a new experience.
Quite like hearing your own voice.
No, I hate hearing my own voice, but it's because it's at the same time. Now it doesn't seem too bad. I think when you hear it, like play it back, it's gonna be terrible. But
Yeah, because I've got to listen back to this hour
Yeah.
and 10 and edit it down.
Jesus Christ, sorry, man. But yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's good to see you.
Do
And
you want to do the outro? The look after yourself stuff.
well, guys, don't take any shit. Look after yourselves. I just like to say a thank you to Blackmill for doing the music.
Yep.
And I'd like to thank Cora
Yeah.
for the illustrations, the drawings.
That's the logo.
And
yeah,
guys, look
Alright,
after
I'll
yourselves.
just, pointed a gun at Jamie with a wee
Yeah,
script
so-
there.
that was no script. No script.
No, yeah, just a listener.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, guys, thank you very much.